Hi, I'm Melanie Souza and welcome to Gluten-free and Loving It. Today we're going to make a beautiful pork tenderloin. Now to start, we have our pork tenderloin here. What I've done, it's 2 pounds, and what I've done is cut off any visible fat. Now pork tenderloin is usually fairly lean, but sometimes there will be a little like skin of fat on there. So we just took that off so you have a nice clean piece of meat with very little fat on it. Okay, and to start, we're going to make a rub. We're going to make a pork tenderloin with a spice rub. And the spices that I'm going to use in my rub are right here. And we have 2 teaspoons of oregano. I'm going to put that in here. And I have 2 teaspoons of thyme, ground thyme there. And then we have a teaspoon of garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and pepper. And we're going to put that all right in to our bowl. And we're just going to mix this up so you have a nice herb rub to put on your pork tenderloin. A little bit on the counter here. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is I have 2 tablespoons of grapeseed oil. And into that, I crushed 3 cloves of garlic with the garlic press. So I pressed it in there, left it in there, kind of let it diffuse a little bit and season up the grapeseed oil for us. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our pork tenderloin and we're going to rub the oil with the garlic in it all over both of the pieces of pork. So I'm going to put some in there. And then I'm just going to take it and actually just like massage it into the pork on both sides. So we want to get that garlic flavor all over the pork. And we add a little bit of fat to it because it is really low in fat. So we do want to add some good healthy fat back in there just to help it stay moist as we cook it. So I rubbed that on there. And I'm going to take my spice mixture here and I'm going to put this all over the pork. You don't have to be fancy about it or precise about it. You just want to get it mostly covered as best you can. And I'm going to flip it over so I can get the other side. And spread that nicely all over. Once you get it coated, then you can rub it in a little bit, make sure that all sides of it, the pork, are covered nicely. So I want to make sure that's good and covered so we have that flavor all over the pork. Okay, so now we have the pork covered in our garlic and oil and also with our spice rub that we put on there. Now you can use all different spices if you want. I particularly just picked these because I like the flavors of these combined together. But if you have some other spices that you like, a spice mixture, feel free to use that because pork doesn't really have a whole lot of flavor on its own. So it takes in other flavors really, really well. So you pick something that you like, the flavors you like, and add them together and put them on your pork. So this is completely gluten-free. You have just your pork. We have gluten-free spices. Olive oil, the grapeseed oil is gluten-free, and the garlic, of course, is. So what we've done is we've set the oven on 400. And one thing that I do, I never used to cook pork because it was really hard for me, I should say, to cook because I would always overcook it. Now I use the meat thermometer. I put it right in there from the beginning, watch it, and when it hits 160, take it right out. Then you know it's perfectly done. You're not going to overcook it. You're not going to dry it out. So I'm going to take my meat thermometer, and this one isn't, these pork tenderloins aren't really fat. Sometimes it's like really fat on one side and really skinny on the other side, and sometimes that's hard to gauge. If that is the case, I will put my thermometer in the skinnier end, going toward the thick end, but not in the thick end, because I find if I put it in the thick end, the skinny part of it is way overcooked. So because I like to have a lot of leftovers, we will we will eat the skinnier end first because that is cooked to temperature. And then when we have the other end, the fatter end for the meal the next day, we do need to heat it up. So once you put it in, if it's not cooked all the way to your liking, all the way through, it will finish cooking in the microwave, and that way it'll still be tender and it will just melt in your mouth. So I'm going to put my pork, this one's pretty even all the way across, so it doesn't really matter so much where I put it. I'm going to put it in right here, and I'm going to put it in the 400-degree oven for 30 minutes. At 30 minutes it's usually done, depending again on the thickness of your pork tenderloin. Sometimes I have to go 35, but this one's not super thick. It seems to be a little flatter. So I'm going to put it in 400-degree oven for 30 minutes, and then we're going to check. And I will check it periodically in between too to make sure that it doesn't just come up to temperature really quickly. So we're going to do that now, and we'll see when it's done. Okay, here we have it, our beautiful pork tenderloin with herb rub. Now it cooked in the oven at 400 for 30 minutes, and when I took it out, we let it stand for 10 minutes. Let it stand, let the juices absorb and let all the flavors absorb. The house smells so wonderful. I wish you could smell it, because it just, the herbs and the oil and the garlic just give it a beautiful aroma. So we let it stand for 10 minutes, and now I'm going to take it out. And let's see, I'm going to cut it. So here we have it. Got some slices for you. Oh, this just looks so yummy. The juices are still in there. We haven't ruined the juices. Oops. And some pieces right here, just gorgeous. Melt in your mouth. Beautiful pork tenderloin. What I like to serve with this, to accompany this, a lot of times is an arugula salad with goat cheese and a raspberry vinaigrette. It gives a nice fruity flavor. The arugula is a little bit peppery, and the goat cheese has a little bit of tang. It works beautifully with this pork tenderloin with the herb rub. So try it. It's very delicious. You'll love it. Enjoy.